I truly believe that what I'm going to talk to you about, it's the most real thing I know. And knowing it is something that's completely changed my life. And I think the people that you listen to today, who've changed their lives in various ways and the lives of other people, know this too. And I also think that you'll see that what I'm going to tell you, you already know too, but you don't know you know it. And it's so great to be able to learn something you already know so that it can be made conscious and explicit. And that's what I'm going to try to do. So there's lots of slides and there's lots of words, and so away we go. First, I believe that people suffer more than they have to because we profoundly misunderstand what's real. We're blinded to what's truly fundamental by the things that present themselves most easily to our perceptions. Thus, we fail to realize what is most genuine and important. We believe that the world is made out of objects. I would like to propose instead that the world is made out of chaos and order, and that the quality of our being is dependent on how we manage the balance between the two. Chaos, that's what manifests itself when we don't know what we're looking at. It's chaos that we saw when the Twin Towers fell. It's chaos that looms when the partner you loved for decades reveals a lengthy affair. It's chaos that engulfs you when a loved one dies. Chaos is the unknown, the unexpected, the anomalous. It's the mater, the mother, the Latin root of the words matrix and material, the substance of reality. Chaos is the fruitfulness of nature and the terror of time. It's an ocean of possibility surrounding the territory of human culture. It's the water of life, bringing sustenance to those parched by their own dry preconceptions. And it's the flood unleashed by an angry God when the ideas of men warp so badly that they can no longer be sustained. It's the yin of the Taoists. It's the paralyzing horror of the darkness. It's the treachery of our physical forms. It's the monster under the bed. And it's the snake that eternally lurks in the garden. Chaos is also what you encounter when you boldly go where no one's gone before. Order, by contrast, that's where you are when everything is working properly. When the trains run on time, that's order. When you have a happy and secure home, that's order. Order keeps the operating room clean. Order is what God calls out of chaos at the beginning of time and offers to men and women as a dwelling place. It's an island of stability in a sea of ignorance. It's the yang of the Taoists. It's the walls of the city. It's the principles of the Constitution and the uniform of the police. Order is the stone that lasts and keeps the barbarians at bay. Taken to an extreme, however, order becomes tyranny and imperils the soul. When human beings stray, we become rigid and unbending, or dissolute and careless. We can no longer think outside the box, or we drift without purpose and then drown in possibility. We want tyranny because we despise what we don't know, or we want anarchy because we refuse responsibility. Either way, we risk exposing ourselves to the opposite principle. Too much order makes collapse into chaos ever more likely. Too much chaos calls the devils of totalitarianism out from the crevices where they hide. The Buddhists believe that life is suffering. Jews and Christians agree. The former remember a long history of persecution. The latter worship a God who is simultaneously human and betrayed and crucified. When men and women cry out to heaven in the face of their suffering, what is it that they can call forth? Meaning. Meaning is not a rational phenomenon. We detect it with our being, not with our intellect, which it should guide rather than follow. When chaos and order are balanced, we have one foot in each domain. That's the meaning that life more abundantly depends on. In that place, we're secure and confident, but challenged enough to be alert and developing. In that place, we play each game, not just to win, but to become better players at all games in the future. Such meaning, properly nurtured, can produce love for life and gratitude so deep that the terrible limitations of being are justified. It's in this manner that paradise is regained. The alternative is to live an unbalanced life. This is not good, because the terrible forces of chaos and order will tear an unbalanced person apart. He'll become overwhelmed, hopeless, bitter, vengeful, and finally, cruel. She'll become willfully blind, narrow, bored, cynical, and vicious. When life is unbalanced, people work against it because they're angry at the dreadful, limited conditions of existence. To hell with it. That's the curse of the embittered. Hell is where they're headed and where they'd like to drag everyone else. This is revenge against God, or the conditions of being, whichever you prefer. It's motivated by the desire that things suffer for their inadequacy and cease to be. How might a person live in reality? This is an empirical, not a rational question. Start by watching yourself, as if you're someone you know very little about. See when you're where you should be psychologically, and see when you're not. Don't think about it. Watch. Then practice spending more time in the place you want to be. You're closer to paradise there and farther from hell. Do whatever you have to stay there. Within a month, given disciplined effort, you'll be in the proper place more often. In a year, much more often. In 3 years, if you're lucky, most of the time. When asked about the kingdom of heaven, Christ said, it's like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds. But when it falls on prepared ground, it produces a great plant and becomes a shelter for all the birds of the sky. It's from such small beginnings that great things grow. Thank you.